You think you can just move in here with your fancy cars and your loud music and own the place? This is a decent neighborhood, not the ghetto. I should have known you people would bring nothing but trouble. Yeah, that was the welcome wagon we got one night right on our front porch on what was supposed to be our anniversary. I know you're probably shaking your head already, but let me back up a second because the night didn't start out like that. Not at all. My wife and I, we'd gotten all dressed up, her in this jaw-dropping emerald dress, me in the one suit I own that actually fits. We weren't going anywhere fancy, just that new Italian spot downtown, but for us it was special. We were happy standing by the door, the sitter texting that she was almost there ready for just a few hours where we could pretend we didn't have a million responsibilities. Then out of nowhere, we hear this rattling at the front door. Not a knock, a jiggle like someone's trying to force their way in. My first thought is, did I forget to lock it? But I know I locked it. The jiggling gets more aggressive, and then we hear this dramatic sigh. So I peek through the peephole, and who do I see? But our next-door neighbor, let's call her Linda, looking like a grumpy beach ball in a floral sundress and flip-flops. I open the door just a crack, already annoyed because our Uber's 2 minutes out and she's standing there like we've just ruined her life. It's about time I've been trying to get in. Your door's locked. She says it like it's a personal insult, like it's her house. I just blink at her. Yeah, it's our door. We usually lock it. My wife steps up all polite. Is everything all right? And that's when the floodgates open. Linda's face goes red, and she launches into a tirade about us you people and how we're bringing down the neighborhood. It was so out of nowhere I was stunned. We're standing there dressed to the nines, and she's spewing this venom at us because our door was locked. Not annoyed, furious, like we'd broken some sacred rule. And here's the thing, up until that night, we thought we had a pretty normal, neighborly relationship with Linda. When we first moved in, she came over with lemonade and cookies. Welcome to the neighborhood. She seemed sweet enough, always popping by with a little gossip, talking about who was getting divorced, whose kid flunked math. It felt like the usual suburban busybody routine. Sometimes she'd grab our mail, roll up the trash cans, and we thought she's just lonely. But looking back, there were red flags. She'd comment on things she could only know if she'd been peeking in the windows. That new lamp is a bit modern for my taste, but it's nice. Or she'd say, that's a fancy new watch your husband has. He must have gotten a big promotion. We laughed it off as nosy neighbor stuff. One time my wife's expensive face cream went missing from the porch. Linda brought it back, days later, already a quarter empty, claiming it got mixed up in her mailbox. And oh, she'd just tried a little. It's lovely. Made my skin feel so soft. My wife just stared at her, but what do you do? Start a war with the old lady over face cream. Back to the porch, Linda's now screaming about the locked door, accusing us of hiding something. The Uber's out front, our sitter's about to walk into this circus, and my wife, who's a lawyer by the way, switches into courtroom mode. I'm going to ask you to leave our property now, she says, ice cold. Linda scoffs. Your property. I've lived here 40 years. I have more right to be here than you do. I was just coming to borrow sugar like a good neighbor. She's pointing at our house voice, dripping with accusation. At this point, Linda's all but foaming at the mouth, shouting about gangbanger friends and saying she's not scared of us. It was just unhinged. My wife pulls out her phone, says if Linda doesn't leave, she'll call the police for trespassing and harassment. That's what sets Linda off. She grabs her own phone and shrieks, I'm the one being threatened. I'm calling 911. And she does right there, spinning the story to the dispatcher about us cornering her on her porch. Meanwhile, my wife and I are just standing there dumbfounded. 2 squad cars show up. Our street goes from peaceful to a full-blown episode of Cops in about 5 minutes. Neighbors are peeking out windows. The sitter's in her car texting her mom, the whole 9 yards. Linda runs up to the officers, sobbing about how we tried to hurt her. One of the cops, the older one, comes up, sees us in our fancy clothes, and starts asking what happened. My wife lays it out calm and clear. Linda came onto our property, tried to force her way in, screamed racist garbage, refused to leave, and when we told her we'd call the cops, she beat us to it. They listen. I show them my phone video, everything from Linda's tirade to her fake panic. You can actually see the officers' faces change as they watch. The younger cop, who'd been skeptical, just shakes his head. When the video ends, the older cop sighs. Her story and what's on that video are two different things. My wife immediately asks, "So are you going to charge her for filing a false report?" The cop hesitates. "She's an old lady," he says, "and the DA would probably just drop it." My advice: stay away from her. Lock your doors. That's it. We get harassed, accused, and their big solution is to just avoid her. We go inside, lock the deadbolt, and sit in silence. The happiness of our anniversary is just gone. My wife finally says, "It's the path of least resistance. Why arrest a harmless old white lady and deal with the paperwork when you can just tell the black couple she harassed to be the bigger person?" She's right. We'd seen it before, but this time it was personal. But the locked door, why did it make Linda so angry? We start thinking back on all the favors she did, the little things that went missing. Maybe she wasn't just nosy or lonely. Maybe those weren't favors, but excuses to be on our property or in our house. The face cream, the missing chocolates, the scarf, what if she'd been letting herself in whenever she wanted? Suddenly, it made a horrible kind of sense. So we set a trap, installed security cameras everywhere, planted a fake package on her porch with a marked $20 inside, watched on camera as she took it inside, then returned the empty box later. Next day, my wife calls the neighborhood grocery store, asks them to look out for a $20 bill with a special UV mark. Sure enough, a day later, the store calls. Linda spent our marked $20 on milk and bread. We have the video, the empty box, the marked bill, and now a third-party witness. It's airtight. The cops come back, watch the footage, and their skepticism disappears. They go over to Linda's house. We watch through the window as they confront her, and for the first time, she can't talk her way out. They arrest her right there on her own porch, handcuffs, the whole deal. Her mask drops, and all that's left is bitterness. But when the cops search her house, it's a gold mine. Our stolen things, plus trinkets and keepsakes from other neighbors. Old newspapers, a class ring, a child's christening cup. Turns out Linda's been robbing people blind for decades, hiding behind lemonade and a sweet smile. She's charged with petty theft, vandalism, and harassment. Her defense: she's a kleptomaniac, a sick old woman. Her lawyer tries every trick: motion psychiatric evaluations, diminished capacity. But our video, the neighbors' stories, and even a photo from an old estate sale show she's been pulling these tricks for years. Her son, mortified, begs us to drop the charges, offers money, even promises to move her away. But it's not enough. She needs to be held accountable, not just disappear quietly. The trial is quick. The judge doesn't buy the act, finds her guilty on all counts. She gets probation, restitution, mandatory treatment, and most importantly, a permanent restraining order. Her son moves her out. The day the moving truck pulls away, we feel, well, not triumphant, just relieved. Our house, our street, our peace is ours again. And yeah, I'm more cautious now. I check the locks, I check the cameras, but we threw a barbecue for the neighbors. Real laughter, real community for the first time. And every now and then when I look at our house or see the new family that moved in next door, I think about everything we went through, how we had to fight, be our own detectives, our own advocates to get justice. So here's what I want to know. What would you have done? When the people and systems meant to protect you just shrug and walk away, do you let it go, or do you stand your ground and fight back? Tell me your thoughts. Share your stories. And if you made it this far, hit subscribe and drop your city in the comments, because I read every single one, and trust me, you never know who's watching from next door.